We didn't. I don't want to make it. I don't want to be like duplicitous here. We didn't allude to this yesterday, but we kind of alluded to the idea of this yesterday. The idea of, okay, you just sort of reset everything financially. You've got your books back down to a kind of a normal level. What's going to be the next bright, shiny thing that's going to catch Matt Ishbia's attention and make him want to plunge again? Enter Jonathan Kuminga, who, according to a report from Jake L. Fisher, the Warriors are trying to figure out what to do with them, what kind of sign and trade options there are. And they report that the Phoenix Suns have expressed interest in a sign and trade for Jonathan Kuminga.
It's interesting because it's not necessarily that. And what I mean by that, Bernsey, is this is not a move that would like move them back into the second apron or whatever. This would be a sign and trade where you would include some other salaries to get this done. Some of the reporting, which is very much indicated that like the league circles talk, the person who ordered Starbucks one time for Joe Cronin, the GM and whatever, who told this guy that and then was exchanging boxes. He got the info that Kuminga is someone who has a price tag that the Suns are not necessarily in a position to meet. I believe that RealGM.com, who does an excellent job with this unbelievable resource of keeping track of all the future draft picks and stuff, they've updated all their stuff after the draft and after some of the trades in the offseason. I believe the Suns only have 1 second-round pick left. That's really all that they have left now after all of that movement on day 2 of the draft, after all of the second-rounders that moved hands in other trades like the Mark Williams trade, like the Kevin Durant trade. I believe they're at 1. If someone from the Suns is listening and wants to correct me on that, that'd be awesome because then I'd know and everyone else would know as well. Otherwise, I'll just assume that I am correct and Real GM is correct as they always have been. They don't have any...
Is that your fine print voice? I'm just asking for everybody listening. Is that what you sound like when you like read the fine print or something or your disclaimer voice?
Do you hear your own voice in your head? Is that a thing for you?
Well, no, it's just like when you're hearing a radio commercial and you hear terms may apply. Please check the website for details. Blah, 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 blah. Like that's kind of your disclaimer asterisk kind of voice. No,
I can get behind it.
Okay, well, that's what it sounded like to me. Like so,
I didn't think about it.
So I mean, I just say it with your chest. If somebody from the Suns is listening and you want to let us know how many draft picks you've got, shoot us a text. Let us know. But we think it's just 1 second rounder and that's it. And I think what you're getting at is that ain't going to be enough to get it done with the Golden State Warriors in a sign and trade with Jonathan Kuminga. They're going to need a little more than that.
I don't totally understand. I like getting Kuminga for like a nice like swing to see if a guy in a new situation could turn out well for you. But if you're giving up legitimate assets to get him, I don't really see the point in that. It's not the best basketball fit in the world. Now, everyone would be very excited by the pushback here, which would be, wait a second, we're talking about a guy who's taller than 6'5" and is like an athletic, strong wing. What do you mean he's not a great fit? He's a score-first wing, and so you would be adding him next to Jalen Green, and like those two would be your aggressive, shot-seeking guys on the perimeter when you have Devin Booker on your team.
Feels traffic jammy to me, you know.
It's
feels a little bit of the 51 on a Thursday afternoon, a little jammed up, you know.
When you looked at it and you're like, oh yeah, it's Friday. That's right. Like that's why we're all jammed up.
I chose the wrong freeway. The 10 westbound on a Friday, right? I chose the wrong freeway.
You triggered Jamal.
I just triggered Jamal on the other side of the glass. The 10 westbound on a Friday.
You thought the Suns made you mad?
The whole reason why the Coyotes in Glendale didn't work was traffic on the I-10 westbound on any given afternoon, right?
Oh my! So I live in the west side
every day.
Every day I take it. Every day, and every day I just get more and more mad.
And for all the questions about Jalen Green and like what he has to prove, Jonathan Kuminga has 3 times as much to prove because he's coming off a year where Steve Kerr wasn't playing him some games. He had pulled him out of the rotation completely, didn't see the buy-in for the role that he wanted him to be in, and meanwhile, Jonathan Kuminga would put forth like these explosive performances. If you look at when the injuries started to pile up for the Warriors and they were dealing in games without Jimmy Butler, he ended his postseason with 26, 23, and 30. Kuminga did. He can really score the basketball and has a lot of potential left to go. But again, like Jalen Green, do the Suns have the right ecosystem, the right fit to see it out? I do not believe they do. So I think this would be, again, like, new talented guy that we could be. Again, like, what are you trying to achieve? You're trying to build your team for the next 3 to 5 years here, more like 5 to 7 if we're being honest. And I don't see how that helps. But
you're telling me in terms of the financial implications of doing this, that this is not akin to okay, I just paid off the credit card, now I'm going to go max it out again. I mean, that's not what this would be financially.
It would not be. No.
Okay.
It would not be. Now, like Zion Williamson, for example, that would be one of those situations where you're talking about a guy who makes $40-50 million. But I'm under the assumption that Jonathan Kuminga is going to sign for 20, 25, maybe
See,
30. So that's where you throw in Grayson Allen, you throw in Royce O'Neal, you throw in a pick or whatever, and then you get this thing done.
that automatically makes me a little bit more interested in it. You know, just knowing that regard of it, that it's not like this going to be crippling financial. You know, again, I just said it, but I'll say it again. Hey, we just paid off the credit card. Now let's go max it out again. You know, I'm not in a hot rush to do that right now. Certainly not for Jonathan Kuminga. Well, this is exactly what the report read, by the way, from Jake Fisher. Sources say Phoenix, meanwhile, is the latest team to express exploratory interest in a Kuminga sign and trade.
Wait, read that again?
Sources say Phoenix, meanwhile, is the latest team to express exploratory interest in a Kuminga sign and trade.
Express exploratory. What does that mean? Seriously, what does that mean?
They're expressing, hey, we're thinking of maybe giving you a call and making you an offer for Jonathan Kuminga. We're kind of kicking it around. Would that be a good idea on our part to make that call to you or not? What do you think?
Okay.
That's
No, I translate the emojis for you. You translate the word salad for me, brother. That's awesome. We've got a nice system.
That's
here.
how I translate that. Hey, we're thinking about it. You know, should we call you about this? We're thinking about calling you about this. Should we call you about this? It goes on to say, fresh off completing a buyout of Bradley Beal, blah, 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 enabling the Suns to wave and stretch, blah, blah, blah. They have contacted both Kuminga's representation and the Warriors to make their fondness. Okay, here's a word salad for you. Man, does this come with Caesar dressing? The Warriors to make their fondness for the bouncy swing man known. They have contacted both Kuminga's representation and the Warriors to make their fondness for the bouncy swing man known. The Suns, to be clear, do not appear to possess the sort of draft capital or players that Golden State is believed to be seeking in exchange for Kuminga. For what it's worth, our guy Gambo didn't shoot it down today. We're going to ask him about it in 20 minutes. He didn't shoot it down. He said, I don't think it's likely, but I'm not going to say no. Like, he's not asking for Blue Oyster Cult on this one.
And when there was the Jimmy Butler trade that Kevin Durant shut down, I'm sorry, Kevin Durant didn't make it known he would want to go to Golden State, so he essentially therefore shut it down. Okay, there we go. Got it.
Again, there's your little disclaimer voice. You just did it again. You kind of drop down an octave and you start talking really
48
fast.
hours, I'm going to completely be free of a news cycle and no longer talking about these types of things.
Dig deep, Kellen. Dig deep.
Wait till we talk about pick swaps at 4:45.
Come on,
Holy
Kellen.
Toledo.
Dig deep.
What we're getting at here is the Jimmy Butler trade. That includes Jonathan Kuminga. So we know the Suns were fans of Jonathan Kuminga because he was in that trade construction previously, that structure that seemed like it was agreed upon. We'll ask Gambo for more clarification on that. But you want to talk about getting to the rim. You want to talk about athleticism. Again, bouncy. They are fond of his bouncy swingman attributes.
Bouncy.
He can bounce.
He can bounce.
He can bounce. He can
bouncy.
jump a bit. He can jump a bit. But it would be another Jalen Green-esque, like, okay, here's a guy on his second team. Don't really know how good he is, but he has potential. Here you go. Figure it out.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.